Growing up in the Hamas world, I want to be direct. It's a death cult. This is what it is. I can go on and on describing what Hamas culture is, what Islamic culture is, which everybody is trying to silence me when I raise the case that we have an Islamic problem. That on October 7, they celebrated a genocide against the Jewish people, a modern-day Holocaust. They celebrated it. Then shortly after, they complained to be victims of a genocide. They inverted the narrative in no time. As the Jewish people are still mourning October 7. Total denial, living in falsehood. Their mastery is to invert the narrative. They have been committing, and I include my family that you are talking about, my biological family, which is something that I forgot long time ago. You know, imagine me and my father. We had guns pointing at each other. Each one of us had a bullet. I did not pull the trigger, but he did 15 years ago. And I'm still holding the bullet. And I'm telling him, yesterday and today, drop your violence. That's all you have to do, drop your violence. And his violence is not only against the Jewish people, it's against all the non-Muslims. So we are dealing with 7th century tribalism. I am not here to speak low of my parents, but I have no other choice. After October 7, I had to draw the line. Some of us must stand for the truth. Yes, I severed. I had no choice, with heart broken, to sever my relationship with my mother. And this is why I rejected their violence. There was a small crack between me and these people, and it kept widening, and it's still widening until today. I thought after October 7, they would realize that what they did was horrible, what they did was unforgivable, what they did was a total mistake, that they would come to their senses and think and realize that violence is a dead end. But instead of learning, they blamed Israel. And now they are blaming the United States, and they are blaming the entire world. We cannot accept this victim mentality. This victim mentality will lead humanity to total destruction, because a victim mentality does not take responsibility. It can never trace the origin of its suffering. What they did in Gaza is their own creation. And instead of admitting that what they did was wrong, that they brought destruction upon themselves, they accused Israel of genocide, using human shields, sacrificing children religiously. And when I talk about sacrificing children, people think that I'm exaggerating. What kind of father, when he had to choose between his hypothetical entity, a God, Allah, and his son who saved his life, then he go on choosing the non-existential? This is the culture that we are dealing with. And of course, I'm a self-made man. I'm not dependent on anybody. It's too late to think actually of parents. But I worry about all the children who are in that culture, who have been sacrificed. Hamas gambled with children's blood on October 7, knowing that Israel would have no choice but to invade Gaza. And they wanted to maximize the civilian casualty, as Israel has been trying its best to minimize the civilian casualty, and I know this from a first-hand experience. This is not a propaganda. I know if they succeed in, first of all, if they succeed in delegitimizing Israel, then if they succeed in destroying Israel, God forbids, and we are not going to allow that to happen. they will go after Christians, Hindus, Buddhists, and all the non-Muslims. And you know what's worse than this? And I'm sorry for my long answer. You got me emotional right now. I should not raise my voice in your presence. What's worse than this? After killing all the non-Muslims, they will kill themselves. This is what they approved throughout the centuries. How many Islamic khilafahs have we witnessed? And as someone who studied the Islamic history, they paved the path towards their kingdom of Allah on human skulls. Millions of people perished for the Islamic ambition. And after they achieved their temporary goal, they killed each other. And Israel today is caught up in the Shia-Sunni war. If it wasn't for Israel, Sunni and Shia would kill each other. If it wasn't for Israel, the only thing that unifies what so-called Palestinians, nothing but political gangs with no legitimate leadership. They've never been a country. They claim to be occupied. It's a lie. It's as simple as that. And millions of people around the world are believing the lie. So this is what we are dealing with. False narrative lead eventually to violence. And we must counter the false narrative with everything that we have. I came from that hill. This is where I came from. And I don't want the practice of sacrificing children for political and financial gain to continue. This is my life's mission. And it's as simple as that. I have been a yoga practitioner for almost 15 years of everyday practice. Om Shanti in the morning, every morning. I never thought I would be talking of killing people. But we have no other choice. When I left my peaceful island after October 7, I left with nothing in my pocket, with nothing on me. And I swear that if Israel decides to let Hamas get away with their crime, that I will build an army from scratch and I will go after them until I destroy them. What peace? Now, the only way towards peace is through war. And we must win this war, not only against Hamas, but against all the Nazis around the globe who have been celebrating and rejoicing. And as the ambassador said, when they tasted a little bit of blood, it ignited bloodlust in all of them. And they're coming after civilization, they're coming after the successful minority, they're coming after everybody. And no one can satisfy their ambition. First, we have to seize the day. We must win the war. I've been to Gaza, I've been to the Lebanese border, I've been with special forces, with the Navy. I count on those guys. Here we are sitting in comfort. We have people there in Gaza. Our soldiers are dying on a regular basis. They are suffering, their families, the hostages, their families. There are people who are paying very big price, and we cannot let them down, and we cannot decide on their behalf, ceasefire now. It's not up to Biden, it's not up to Trump. And even though many of us are optimistic about Trump, I have to say, if he dares to force Israel to cease fire for any stupid reason, we must resist him. I don't know what politicians have to compromise. We cannot allow the Iranians, the Islamic Revolution, to obtain a mass destruction weapon. If they hit Israel, God forbid, they have ballistic missiles, if they have a mass destruction weapon, if they hit Israel, They don't care for Jews or Sunnis. They want to kill everybody. They want to invade Mecca. They want to kill the entire Sunni Muslim world. Their goal is not Jerusalem. Their goal is Mecca. This is what Ayatollah wants. And I think the Sunnis, if they have a little bit of brain, they must get united with Israel against the Islamic Republic of Iran. So with that said, we cannot let the destiny of the entire Middle East, generations to come, and the destiny and the fate of the Jewish people hang on the desire of a politician. It doesn't matter which party they belong to. You know, we hear so many amazing promises right now. But tomorrow I want to see these beautiful speeches in practice in the United Nations. This is when this simple man may do a standing ovation. But so far, I haven't seen results. What I would like to see, the destruction of the head of the snake. The head of the snake. So peace will follow. But do we have any other choice? They pushed us to the corner, Sarah. They want me to cease to exist, and I don't understand why. All we did, we saved human lives. Hamas killed Arabs, Druze, Jews, Christians, foreigners. They killed civilians indiscriminately. And my crime, I reported them. My crime was to protest or to reject their death ideology. Hence, I became a traitor. This is my sin. And now, they want me dead. This is my crime, that I saved human lives. And today, I have so many Americans here on the American soil who have been repeating Hamas propaganda. They want to make my blood allowed. My father said 14 years ago, he's not my son. If you want to kill him, I will not come after you. His blood is halal. He said it in a public statement. This is what he said to public. And the same thing today. Many Americans, I'm an American citizen. I'm loyal to my country. My country is the United States. They want me to be loyal to a colonial entity. A colonial entity. This is what Palestine. It was never a country. It was not a sovereign nation. It's not an ethnic group. It's not a religion. It's not a race. It was only a colonial entity, and they wanted me to be violent. And they wanted me to obey their violence in service of a colonial entity at the expense of humanity. And today, when I reject this, they accuse me of treason, and they want me to cease to exist. This is where I meet with the Jewish people, because I know what it really means to fight for your very existence. This is an existential fight, and we must win. After we win, and after I crush their skulls, okay, then we can talk peace.
Okay, so all of you have got to recognize and appreciate Masab Hassan Yousef was educated, indoctrinated, socialized to hate our people. He had to penetrate through layers and layers of socialization, and he drew forth this beautiful soul of humanity. And every single person in this room has got to stand up and bless the day that Masab Hassan Yousef was born. Thank you so much.
Thank you very
Masab.
much. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I love you.
Thank you very much. God bless.